Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new video. If you don't know who I am a Big Chungus, recording and documenting my weight loss journey through cycling. I'm currently down 20 kg. For those of you that use pounds, that's around about 40 pounds. So I'm definitely very happy. And today we're going on a gravel ride, which will be very hard. I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, make sure to sub to the channel. Also follow the Instagram, hit like on all the socials, you know what to do, and I'll see you in the next one.
Another gravel trip, 50k today, together with Strava Man. We'll see how it goes. For now, we're cruising on the road. It feels amazing! Freedom, no cars, and miles on gravel. A well-deserved break, but a fucking mechanical! Ah! Mechanical fixed, brake taken. Hopefully I don't break my face. Ha!
I kind of want to take the time to actually do a voiceover for the very first time. Honestly, gravel riding is something that I truly love and that I never really thought I actually loved as much as I'm doing at the moment, because it is a whole new way of cycling. It's a whole new way of handling the bike as to what I'm otherwise used to on the roads. And with this part being a voiceover, I kind of want to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about the downsides of being a heavyweight cyclist, and more particularly a heavy gravel rider, because gravel riding is a whole new dimension of the cycling world for me, which is actually something that I kind of got to experience because of Mr. Strava Man, and it's something that I never really think of when I'm riding, or even thought of when I first got into cycling, because my very first bike was a gravel bike, but I just decided to put road tires on them. So this is whole thought process that I went through, and it kind of makes sense for me to prefer road cycling over gravel cycling, but that doesn't change the fact that I really enjoyed these rides in the heart of the nature itself, in the forest, in the gravel unpaved roads that are just there to freaking enjoy whatever you're doing. And I think that's a very important thing, that you still, whether or not you're a road cyclist only or a gravel rider only, you have to enjoy what you're doing, and I think that's probably the most important thing. But I do kind of want to put on or like get into some details as to why it is hard being a heavy gravel rider and why it also is kind of positive being a gravel rider. Did I just say gravy? Damn, a gravy rider. For me, one of the most important things, honestly, as a heavy gravel rider is the fatigue. And I'm not specifically talking about like just being tired or leg fatigue, actually. I am more going toward the fatigue in my arms and my wrists. You may or may not know it, but I have broken my wrists multiple times on the left and on the right side. And it's actually quite scary because I'm running around with like 3 scars on one arm, and it actually is something that kept me away from gravel for as long as it did, until like me and Strava Man signed up for the 110k. But I was actually very scared of it because like I didn't know how my body would react to the micro vibrations of the unpaved roads and all that. So it's definitely something that you have to take into account if you have weaker arms or weaker wrists. If you're a heavy rider, the fatigue will probably be there at one point, and that definitely is something to take into consideration as well. Another thing which might be overlooked as a heavy rider, which is also super important, is actually tire pressure. Of course, we are heavy riders, so we cannot use less tire pressure to compromise for the comfort. So we have to put in more tire pressure, which is less comfy, and we also get less grip on those gravel roads, which may be contradictory to what you might think, because like our body is heavier, so we can lean in more toward the ground or shift the body weight in different angles to actually be more stable on the bike. But like tire pressure is and will always be something that's very important, even if you're road cycling, and that's something as a heavy rider you cannot really like experiment with, which is something I kind of am sad about, because it's definitely an era of cycling or like a thing of cycling that I would be kind of interested in, because you see the pro riders always talk about the tire pressures and also how important it is to run at the right tire pressure if you run tubeless, for example. So those are things that I really cannot experience myself, but that are actually also super important if you are in the cycling world. So it is maybe just a minor detail, but it can actually make a difference to the way that you're feeling on the bike and on the gravel bike or on the road bike. So I have never, and I will probably never have the opportunity to experiment with different tire pressures. So yeah, it's kind of a downside of being a heavy rider, which is also a topic that's just been talked a lot about, the tire pressure that is. So yeah, and on general, last but not least, it is just traction on loose unpaved roads. Like the more loose rocks or the more loose things that are on the gravel roads, the easier it is that your rear wheel will just spin if you like want to do a sprint or something. And I actually had this happen to me a few times where I was trying to catch up with Strava Man, but he's such a freaking fast rider that I just keep slipping with my rear wheel and also ended up crashing once. So yeah, not a good thing, but those are definitely things that are important as a heavy rider that you need to take into consideration if you want to actually get into gravel riding. So yeah, those are my 3 things. And there we have it, the very second gravel ride done, a 56k together with Strava Man. Hopefully you did learn something about me being a gravy rider, a heavy gravel rider, and hopefully I also inspired you to get onto the gravel bike and do some gravel trips, because it is actually amazing. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Peace.